let's talk about the last two games. The Leafs win, the Leafs lose. Concerning about the first game, they win and the arena's dead. Concerning about the second game, it's a repeat of every other loss they've had this year on a back-to-back.
I can't get excited to watch the Leafs.
Well, it seems like
that's concerning, right?
Fans can't get I'm not excited to watch the Leafs.
I
mean
can't get
that.
excited to watch them play the Sharks because I know even if they win, they're going to lose the next night. They're going to. Oh, we almost had them, and you almost had the Bruins, and you almost... Wow. You know what? You keep putting those almost points in the bank, and you're going to almost make the playoffs. I'm exhausted. Mm-hmm. I'm exhausted. I know that they head into every back-to-back with the goal of getting 2 of 4. Mission accomplished. Woo! Woo! And they went into this week with a pair of back-to-backs with the mission of getting 4 out of 8. You got 3. Well, you know what, though? 3 is almost 4, so woo! Mission accomplished! Ugh! I can't get excited about that. The narrative that this team doesn't stick up for itself. The first time someone got decked, I'm like, whatever. Matthews gets decked, I'm like, that's a little bit concerning. Barrie got decked yesterday, and I'm like, can someone frigging do anything? Slash him.
So to that point, Mike Babcock said, who's going to do that? They asked him between games, are you upset about the Brendan Dillon hit on Matthews and the lack of retaliation from your team? And he asked, and no reporter had a follow-up. He said, who's going to do that?
A reporter should have said any freaking buddy. Sidney Crosby fights. Evgeny Malkin fights. Pavel Datsyuk once beat the shit out of Corey Perry. He beat the brakes off of him. Pavel Datsyuk. Stick up for yourself, for crying out loud.
But that's
Brendan Gallagher.
That's not
is
these
a thing.
guys.
Are you joking?
Yeah,
that's not these guys, though.
I don't get. Okay, well then they're not winners. They're not going to win.
Is not retaliating.
It's not these guys.
But
okay,
is that what winning is? Retaliating after a big hit?
They're trying to.
No, but for fuck's sake,
they're trying.
Make
Steve,
it look like you give the remotest shit.
They're trying to instill a way of thinking with the Leafs right now, which is tough for us because in the moment we're fans and we want to react.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to say, okay, but our retaliation is our power play. Our retaliation, but the problem is when you have there were some missed calls in Boston, and again, I want to stay away from criticizing the refs because it's so fucking boring.
They're terrible.
No one cares.
They're awful.
It's subjective, and every other fan base is going to go, well, we have our complaints too, and I get that, and it's. Max Domi, there were Montreal reporters last night who were like, how did Max Domi not get a penalty for punching, who was it in the head?
Alex Kerfoot.
Yes.
After Kerfoot, and Domi was right to stick up for himself. He just got decked from behind. So he gets up, he does a 10 times more aggressive version of what Martin Marincin did to David Backes. Nothing. Fuck all. The worst officials in professional sports. They're awful.
Well, have you seen basketball?
Yeah, basketball. Basketball's a joke.
Basketball's so bad.
Yeah.
Forget the fact that basketball officials were literally caught getting paid.
Yeah.
Well, at least they got caught. They actually got paid, so they intentionally threw games. NHL refs just don't give a shit.
I'm surprised you have this opinion. That you think the Leafs winning and losing is dependent on them retaliating to Brendan Dillon.
No, okay.
Because
calm down.
Because there are people that are going to take this part of the conversation, and before they hear the whole thing, they're going to go, I can't believe it. Oh my God, you guys have completely thrown everything that you've ever said out the window.
Totally. But every now and then, let them know you still exist.
Get angry.
Our retaliation is our power play. One, you don't score it. You score 1 out of 5 times. Your retaliation is 1 out of 5 times, if you're lucky. Also, you got to rely on the worst officials in professional sports to provide you with that power play.
Nope.
Second worst.
The worst. The worst.
Also, they might be tied with NFL officials.
Oh, after that New Orleans game. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's New Orleans, the enther city, how they feel about the NFL officiating.
Just the elbow, the direct head hit, and that was exhausting.
With the Brendan Dillon
stuff? The Brendan Dillon conversation on Twitter. Clean hit. Oh, okay. Okay. Despite the fact that... Open your fucking eye! I was sitting there looking at my mentions and just going, I have nothing for these people. I have nothing for the... Like, it was like I could have just posted a picture of an orange and had everyone tell me it was a lemon. He hit him in the fucking head! Open your eyes! Direct to the head!
I think, though...
Oh, he was admiring his pass. Fine! He hit him in the brain, idiot! What?
The
What?
way...
I'm telling the truth!
The way a hit to the head
Fun show.
is... the way a hit to the head is judged is if there's contact, right?
People who just don't see what's in front of them. How do you argue with people who dispute reality?
Because Steve, their entire their entire existence, that sort of hit has been illegal, and it's only legal. The only time that's changed is in the last 3 years. And you know what the NHL has done a terrible job of doing is
Employing anyone who gives a shit.
Is going out and saying, this is what a head hit looks like, and here's what one doesn't look like, and here's that's on the line, and here's what we would do about that. And the reason they haven't done that is they don't want anyone to pin them when they fuck up.
Yeah.
So the NHL says, yeah, anytime there's head contact, it's a hit to the head, except when it's not. And that's the problem the NHL faces, is that, and as a fan you face, because the NHL is really smart. The NHL is a lawyer. The NHL is Gary Bettman. Gary Bettman is a lawyer, and Gary Bettman knows not to paint himself into a corner. Kyle Dubas could learn something from Gary Bettman in that regard, by the way.
How?
Can and we will.
Oh, yes.
He's a little too matter-of-fact about things.
Sorry, I love Kyle Dubas' confidence, but is there a more damaging statement in his tenure as a GM?
And he did it right away.
Yeah. But the NHL loves to exist in that gray area, because once they do, then they're free from criticism. Because they're like, all right, we're on both sides here. It's like, you can't criticize us.
No, they love to live in that white-haired area. Like we got George Peros and a bunch of dudes in their 50s and 60s who played hockey in the 70s and 80s making decisions about head contact. And we're not going to get a fair shake, folks. Like,
no, and
our retaliation is the power play. Abandon that plan. You are not going to get ahead with that plan. Abandon it.
Well,
Stop
especially the way it's playing.
on the decisions of others. Let me
especially the way they're playing. By the way, we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Penalty kill looks good. If you were to tell me before the season which guy's going to look great, Dave Haxtell or Paul McFarland, I'd have been like, Paul McFarland and not Dave Haxtell. And guess what? It's the exact opposite. The Leafs PK looks great. The Leafs power play looks abysmal.
Do we owe DJ Smith an apology?
No.
At what?
No.
Okay.
No.
We're not
DJ
doing
Smith
that?
was the
All right.
penalty kill guy. DJ Smith insisted on having Hainsey and Zaitsev out there. The PK looks good with
might have
Haxtell.
been a good option as a head coach.
Oh, come on, man. They like him? That's not good enough. Sorry,
They
man.
voted him assistant
That's not
coach
good
of the
enough.
league.
No. That's not good enough. That's not good enough.
Everyone's telling me how good this team is on paper, and all they need is a motivator.
Fine,
so.
but
We might be wrong about that. We might be wrong
I'm
about how
starting
good
to think so,
how
too.
good they are on paper. We might have overvalued their skill.
Here, one
be a
thing
thing.
from Andrew Berkshire: 2.92 power plays per team per game last year, the lowest since they started recording it in 1963.
wow.
Do not rely on our power play is our retaliation. It's simply not. You will be let down. Abandon that plan.
So the solution to that, though, if you are going to go down that road, cannot be go and get another Fraser McLaren.
No.
And this is the problem. And so you've got two sides here, two competing sides. You got one side that's like just outscore them. You got the other side that's like, well, we need a little. We need
Get a tough guy.
Three tough guys who go out there and just rock 'em, sock 'em robots. And that's not going to work either. What you need are guys like a Brendan Gallagher who gets in front of the net, who's a pain in the ass, who occasionally punches people in the face.
Zach Hyman.
Zach Hyman, yeah, that'd be great.
I'm dying for him to come back.
It would be great to have, if you could again, a guy like Leo Komarov. Not Leo currently, but if you can find the guy with that pissy little attitude that drives people nuts, that's like Brad Marchand's the perfect example of a guy who's tough, but scores a pile of points. You can find both. Mm-hmm. You got to draft for skill first, but if we need some of that, and I agree.
Was it a bad decision to trade Nazem Kadri?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know, man.
I don't think so.
Isn't he that guy that you just described?
No, he's the guy that blew it for them twice in 2 years. I think he. I'm sorry, with Naz, for me, shame on me, you fooled me once. Shame on you, you fooled me once. Shame on me, you fooled me twice.
Yeah.
As in,
Dude, he ruined 2 playoffs.
He had his chance. That was it. And also,
I can't put it any more bluntly. He
let's-
ruined 2 playoff
let's
series.
not
I love
pretend-
him with all my heart, but he ruined 2 playoff
he wasn't
series.
great last year either. He was okay.
No.
And he wasn't doing the things last year that made him success. Remember when they were like, remember we were flirting with Kadri for Selke, that sort of like we were joking about that? Not a chance in hell, by the way.
You were joking.
But
I wasn't.
But
Someone was serious.
I was a little bit serious.
when Kadri really committed, and there was that one game against Edmonton, and forgive me, Oilers fans, for bringing this up, but there was that one game where, he shut down McDavid. That was that one game, and everybody was like,
he didn't.
He didn't.
Like, by the numbers, absolutely not. But he scored the overtime winner.
Yes, and people were like, Nazem Kadri's arrived, and this is the guy he is. The things that made him great in games like that, he stopped doing last year.
Oh, yeah.
And then he did what he did in the playoffs. I don't think trading Nazem Kadri was the problem. I think you got to have somebody who, and this is going to sound, again, against what we've always talked about, which is what the numbers say, which is, by the way, the Leafs are in third in the division.
Yeah.
They're behind Boston. They got more points than Tampa. They're tied with Pittsburgh and the Islanders. I mean, like, this is not bad. This is not a terribly bad start. However, I will say this. The Leafs have played 13 games. Boston's played 10. The Leafs are still 2 points behind them. That's a problem.
But they're in the exact same position as last season.
Bingo.
If it ended right now, same series, same thing.
I think the problem is that's not good enough.